Good afternoon, Salesforce enthusiasts, and welcome to another edition of Salesforce How-To Thursdays. Today's a good one. We're actually going to learn on how to get your notifications on your iPhone. This specific example goes through the opportunity, and when it reaches within 7 days of the close date, we'll actually send you notifications. So pretty cool one. We're using Flow. Before we start, if I can ask you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any episodes. We release these every other Thursdays. And if by the end of the video you got something out of it, I would ask you to please like this video so that it helps with the YouTube algorithm with its rankings and help other enthusiasts such as yourself. With that said, let's do it. Okay, so let's log into our dev instance here. And the first thing we'll want to do is we have a couple of items we need to set up before actually getting into the flow. And for one, we need to set up a custom notification. So if you go ahead and type in notif in the search bar, by the way, if you're not in setup, when I log in, I automatically get into setup mode. But if you're not, click on this little cogwheel at the top and hit on setup. It'll bring you to this page. Type in notification. And the first thing we want to do is set up a custom notification for the opportunities object. And that is, you could set up any type of notification, and this is the first step we need to do. So go ahead and click on New. And our notification name will be Opportunity Closing Soon. Make sure that you click on both desktop and mobile and click on Save. So our custom notification is actually created. Now the next step is to go to notification delivery settings. And down here you'll see that we have our opportunity closing soon that we just created. Go ahead and drop down the arrow and click on Edit. And then we want to obviously support it for desktop and mobile, which we did already. But we also want to send the notifications out to Salesforce for iOS and Salesforce for Android. And you have to have the Salesforce app installed on your iOS or Android device in order for this to work. And go ahead and click on Save. And the last thing we want to verify is under Salesforce Notifications. So go ahead and access that and make sure that these two options, Enable in-app notifications and Enable push notifications, are checked. And go ahead and click on Save. Now that that is out of the way, what we need to do is get the ID of our notification that was created. So the easiest way I found to do this is to go into the developer console. So click on the little cogwheel, go to developer console, and then in here you'll see a bunch of tabs on the bottom. Go to query editor, because we're going to write a select statement, a SOQL or SOQL statement, and we're going to write the following: select ID custom notif type name from custom notification type. And I'll include this script in the comments below, so you could just cut and paste it. But essentially, if you're not familiar with SOQL, this is a Salesforce object called custom notification type, and in there we want to select the ID and the name of that custom notification. So once we have that statement written there, on the bottom left, click on Execute and watch up top. Here's the only custom notification type we have in this dev instance, and here's the ID. So you'll want to double click on this ID and copy it and paste it somewhere in Notepad or Notes, because when we send the custom notification, it'll ask for an ID, as you'll see in the flow. So this particular value here is important. So let me copy this value. Once you've got this value copied, go ahead and close, and you can go back to the previous tab, which gets us back into Salesforce. So again, I was in the developer console. I just came back to the Salesforce application. Okay, now we've got our setup done. Go into the quick find box and type in flow and access flows under the process automation. Here are all the flows. What we want to do here is on the top right, click on new flow. So this will bring up the templates, and basically what we want to do is a scheduled triggered flow. We'll set this flow to run every morning, starting tomorrow morning, and yeah, every morning at a set date, at a set time rather. You'll be able to get notifications. So scheduled triggered flow, click on next, and I like to do freeform. I'm not a big fan of auto layout just yet, so go ahead and select freeform, and here's the start. So what we want to do, the first thing in a schedule triggered flow is to set the schedule. So I'm going to start it tomorrow. We're the 25th today, and then set time. I want it to run at 7, and you don't have to say these exact time. You can actually go 7:47 a.m. Just like that. And how often do we want it to run? We want it to run daily. So it'll run at 7:47 a.m. every day starting tomorrow. Click on Done. Click on Choose Object. Now, this is going to be the opportunity object. So go ahead and select Opportunity. And then we'll give it conditions to make the flow a little more from a performance standpoint. We're gonna filter out certain types of records. So we don't want notifications on opportunities that are closed won or closed lost. We want notifications on any other opportunity stage. So we're gonna type in stage. So stage name does not equal, and then scroll here, we've got all our stages. So we don't want closed one. Click on Add Condition, and stage does not equal closed lost. Here we go. Make sure the condition requirements is AND up here. Okay, you're going to click on Done. Now, the next thing we want to do is basically pull in a decision to find out whether or not an opportunity is closing within 7 days, which is our criteria. So you're going to drag a decision element into the canvas, and this new decision element pops up. Our label is going to be closing within the next week. It's a good idea to put a description here, but for time's sake, I won't be doing that. And the label is going to be closing within the next week. And then I have something with that same API, so closing within, let's just say closing within next week. And then we want, again, the AND condition. And the resource here is, what we want to do is we want to give it a variable to figure out whether or not the opportunity's close date is closing within the next week. So In order to do so, we're going to create a new resource. And the resource type is going to be a formula. And we're going to calculate the difference in days between the close date of the opportunity and today. So there's a variable we can use that basically gives us today's date. So the API name calc num days to close. The data type is going to return a number. We want full days, so there's not going to be any decimal places. And then over here, as I said, we want the close date minus today's date. So we're going to insert a resource. And you can see that if you have a dollar record, that's basically in our scenario, the opportunity record that this flow is currently evaluating. So if you go ahead and select record opportunity, and then we want close date. So it'll insert that resource down here, and then we want to remove today's date, and the variable for that is today with open close paren together like that, and that will return today's date. Once you have that, go ahead and click on done. And now we're back into our decision element. So we basically have the number of days between today and the close date is less than or equal to 7. So anything 7 days from now or less, we want the notification to be triggered. So let's click on done. So now we've got our triggered flow that starts every morning. We've got our decision, and anything that has a close date within 7 days, we want to send a notification. So this is where the magic happens. So you'll want to drag an action into the canvas, and then this particular action. And you can browse through all of these. There are quite a number of actions, which is pretty interesting. But for this scenario, type in notif again, and we have send custom notification. Just replace that. Let me do that again. Send custom notification. And here is our custom notification. So our label will be notif of ops closing soon. And then the custom notification type ID. Remember when we went up to the developer console to get our custom notification type ID? This is the value we need to input in there. So wherever you copied your value, go and fetch it and paste it in here. So here's mine. And then the notification body, I'm basically going to grab a couple of variables. So again, the opportunity that the flow is currently evaluating is $record. We're going to grab this. We're going to grab the name of the opportunity. This is like the body of the notification that we're creating right here. So name. And then we could say is closing on. And then I'm just going to use this title here to get another resource. I want the date. So record, close date. So I want to copy this guy into here, and this is the body of the notification again. I'm going to say take action. And then on this next one, let me just delete this value. I want the title to be the name of the opportunity. is closing soon. All right. Now, the recipient IDs, this action is expecting basically the user IDs of who to send the notification to. So here what we're going to do is we need a variable, and we're going to create a new resource, and this particular resource will be a variable, and we're going to call it users ID, and the data type will be text, and then we'll want to allow multiple values. For some reason, make sure this is checked. It's going to make a collection variable. For some reason, the notification action requires a collection variable, even though we'll have one value in there, because we want to send a notification to the opportunity, that opportunity owner's ID, essentially. So we've got that, user's ID. And then this target ID we want to include, and this is where do we want the notification to take us once we click on it. So you'll want to go in here and again go to record and select ID. So this will basically open that opportunity, that notification, when that specific notification is clicked. So before we click on done here, this user's ID, we forgot a previous step. We actually need to feed it the current opportunity owner ID. So I'm going to click on done. We've got our action all created. So in order to pass it the user's ID, we need to use an assignment element before the action. So over here, we're going to call this one notify or assign user to notify. And the variable is going to be this new variable we just created in the action step. So it's going to be user's ID equals, and it's going to be the opportunities owner ID. So record opportunity and owner we want to create an add here. We want to add to this collection variable. For some reason it doesn't show everything, so again, opportunity, and we'll select owner ID here. Click on done. So we're assigning this collection variable the current owner ID, and then we're using this variable to send the notification. So the last step here is to connect the dots. We're essentially done with our flow. So we're going to connect this to the decision, which basically evaluates every opportunity that is in not closed won or closed lost status. And basically, if it's within 7 days, connect this one here. If it's closing within the next week, we want to assign the opportunity owner's ID. And then we are ready to send that owner a notification using our custom notification. And that's all there is to it. What we want to do is save this particular flow, and then I'm going to call it send notification when opportunity is closing soon. And we're going to save it. And just for an example here, I'm going to kick it off. Let's see, it's 4:48 here. I'm going to send it at 4:51, 4:52 p.m. just so we could see what it does. And done. And I'm going to save as a new version. And then I'm going to activate it. So now, in 3 minutes, we should be getting notification on our phone. So let's see if that's the case here. I'm going to share my iPhone. So in a minute, you'll see notifications appear here. And here we go. And the cool thing about this now is that if you select one of the notifications, it will actually open the Salesforce app to that exact opportunity, and you can do whatever you need to do. So there you have it, custom notifications on your phone, which I think is pretty fantastic. Hope you enjoyed this one. Again, please remember to like if you got something out of this video. That helps me out a lot and gets me to produce more great content like this. If you have any comments or suggestions, I reply to all the comments and love your suggestions, so go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you at some Thursday in the near future. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.